Well, hey there team, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to some more Sunless Skies. So, diving back in and continuing, you guys enjoyed that, and so did I. So, we're at Wolsey Station, and we sort of did the grand tour, and we're working our way through the sort of starter events. We picked up a bit of crew, we've got a passenger of the Horological Society. Let's investigate the black box that was left to us in the basement, in the lower deck of the ship in stowage. Captain Whitlock left it to you in the hold of the Orpheum. This is the black box. Her will described it only as a black box, a description you consider to be an unhelpful understatement. It is a case of black basalt, longer than you are tall, unadorned with a single small recess that contains a keyhole. The thing must weigh most of a ton. It stands upright in a corner of the hold where the crew have pushed it out of the way. Consider what to do with it. What can we do here? At a specific quest, right? Try to remember when the captain acquired it. Examine the box. Sell this box as a curiosity. You don't know what the box contains. The higher your affiliation. So let's not sell it. Let's run this role play all the way, baby. Try to remember. It was the subject of speculation among the crew. Preparations. Captain Whitlock had it brought on board just before your ill-fated expedition to the Blue Kingdom. It was empty then, because you saw the lid and the box carried on board separately and assembled in the hold. And it's not empty now. It is sealed and even heavier than before. But you left for the Blue Kingdom shortly after the box was delivered and made no stops on the way. So whatever is inside the box now, Captain Whitlock found in the Blue Kingdom. Oh, most curious. Examine the box. It has the dimensions of a sarcophagus plundered from the tomb of some forgotten prince of Egypt. Close fast. There are no carvings or inscriptions on it. The join where the lid meets the body is too thin to admit even a knife blade. There are no holes by which light or air might find their way in. It is impossible to see inside without opening it. Even the keyhole has been engineered in such a way as to prevent peeking. The recess with the keyhole, though, as far as you can determine, that is a more recent addition to the box. The stone has been drilled and chiseled away to create space for a modern metal lock. Oh, interesting. That sort of dates the box a little bit. Consult with an academic. Find someone who could open it from among your villainous associates. Pick the lock yourself. Or detonate it with an explosion. Now you can see, these are all the things, I would need munitions, a savage secret. What's on here? A villainy, and even their uncanny specimen, and an academic affiliation. So all these unusual sort of affiliations, inventory items. I love it. It is very Cthulhu-esque, Consider what to do with it. Decisions. The last request of Captain Amelia Whitlock was for the box to be transported to a specific address in London. Alternatively, you could perhaps find someone willing to purchase it as a curiosity. And if you knew what was inside the box, you might be able to command a higher price. Okay, but to be honest, that's not a thread I want to pull. I suppose we just bloody leave it be. There you go, perhaps not. Follow your ambition, Song of the Sky. Look, it'll be worth clicking on this, but I don't know if we can really do anything. This is very endgame. The Song of the Sky looms in your mind, an unfinished monument. Ponder your ambition. Where to begin? Let's have a click. You take advantage of a quiet moment to pull out your journal. The blank page sits before you, smug and unblemished. The horror. At last, inspiration strikes. You need fresh material. That's the ticket. Go out and explore the high wilderness, gather sky stories and tales of terror to begin your Song of the Sky. Alright, so gather tales of terror and sky stories to begin the Song of the Sky. Or onwards, I suppose. Shall we explore the city? The smoggy, clanking, singing, stamping, thronging, frantic heart of the Reach. We've covered that. An ever-expanding port of soot-smudged glass and bright steel, spilling across a drifting mist-wrapped archipelago. Its factories thunder, its engine sheds ring with hammers and hiss with steam. Locomotives chug into sidings for repair, or flare across the sky and away into the high wilderness. Visit the Promise of Days or inquire about the Winchester War. Visit the Promise of Days, a club where seasoned captains gather to trade stories and share advice with younger skyfarers. Old pistons gleam on the walls. The shelves are crowded with mementos from across the sky. The clientele raise their voices to be heard above the comforting clamour of the adjacent engine yards. You may find helpful advice here. Introduce yourself to the seasoned captains. You have yet to make their acquaintance. They are always happy to offer words of advice, and sometimes many words. Oh, let's have a chat. Let's see how this goes. Instructions. 4 are gathered at their usual table. The masked citizen, libertine, polymath, and pioneer, of the neo-nocturnal artistic school. The bedeviled didact, a scholar haunted by his discoveries. The plucky baroness, an explorer, collector, and philatelist? Oh, that sounds invasive. I'm not sure what that is. And spatchcocked Meg, who hunts monsters. Well, fair enough. Of course, everything out here is jolly dangerous, says the Baroness. Few risk the skies, so news of distant ports is valuable. We'll get into that, I suppose. Collect port reports from the places that you visit and deliver them to Victory Hall or Company House. The more you turn in at once, the more they'll pay. Oh, I didn't know that. This is a multiplier. So it's exactly that. As we go and touch base with different ports, we can bring those reports back here. So you're sensing a theme, going out into the rim, doing trade, coming back to the center and essentially cashing in. So it's not just trade, but also port reports, but cashing multiple in. I guess we're motivated to sit on them if we can help it. Look for opportunities on the way, advised the masked citizen. Passengers who want transport, rich men in need of bloody work, etc. Yep, okay, cool. Ask them how to make your fortune through trade. Why not? Between them, they've carried Navarrete gemstones from Eleutheria, which is one of the 3 regions, I believe. Souls to the Blue Kingdom and raw hours to London. Have they tips? So souls and hours are really interesting. There seems to be, jury's still out on the souls thing, but it seems that souls could represent as like gemstones and the actual human souls and that sort of thing. But this is very grey, as again, to refer back to your Eldritch Cthulhu Lovecraftian type stuff. It dances on that sort of vague, but just enough to grasp. Hours are a great example. Hours are a big theme in this, and they are at the same time exactly what they sound like, literal time, but they're also a mineable resource a la copper, something like that. So much so that there are hours mines in this, not so much in this region, but later on in the London area and that. And again, from what I can discern, you have miners that will spend entire lifetimes in these mines, mining away, chipping away, and harvesting hours to pass up the food chain to the greater power. And you can somehow use said hours to then add them to your life, extend the time at which you live. So it seems that people cut deals where they'll spend like 40 years or something in the mines mining hours, but they also recoup the 40 hours to get on with their life. So there's this very strange play of not quite invulnerability, but, sort of immortality, however you want to define it. And I believe the Empress is kind of ever living because she's at the top of the pile and she's super rich and she can afford infinite hours, so she just doesn't die. And I find that to be absolutely fantastic. Let's talk to them about trade. The didact says, fiddling with his innumerable talismans. An essential topic. Meg slides you a stool, and the captains shuffle around to make some room. The masked citizen buys you a drink of their own invention. It is violet, and it is foggy. The plucky baroness gives you a brisk, encouraging grin. Ask away! Oh, ask about the markets. How can you buy and sell goods? Fundamentals. You can sell practically anything at a big trade hub, like New Winchester, of which there is one in each of the major regions, but we'll just worry about this one for the moment. If you want to buy, though, you'll need to travel to more distant ports. Each specialises in a particular export. Meg spits chewing tobacco onto the floor. No money in buying at market prices and selling them at two, though. Though you want to look for bargains or prospects of people offering better money. Buy cheap, sell dear. You can sell not buy any trade good at a major port. Lesser ports each sell a single good, and you can see what a port exports by selecting it on your chart, which we're going to have to explore. It's going to be all fog of war. All right. Ask about prospects. Mars citizen sips their drink. The biggest port in each region has a bazaar where captains do business. Now, we already went there previously and we picked up the offers, but let's just humour them. There, you'll learn of people at other ports prepared to pay over the odds for a commodity. When you accept the commission for a prospect, it's yours. No other captain will pursue it. It's all fantastically civilized. Their smile is droll. You'll have to source the goods yourself, of course, says the bedeviled didact. Find a port that exports them. The client will want a certain amount. You can supply some or all of it, but if you provide all they need, they may furnish you with an additional reward. Okay, which we've sort of covered. A trading opportunity. Ask if they know of a good prospect available. Well, in point of fact, I do, says the masked citizen, tapping an elegant finger on their elegant glass. The host at Magdalene's needs an urgent delivery of seeds, paying a pretty penny too. If I were you, I'd get to the bazaar straight away and put my mark against it, which I think we've already done. Meg grunts. Broker in Port Avon is selling cheap seeds. Chirpy chap, God knows why. His face looks like he'd been pushed through a mangle. An opportunity. Port Avon lies to the north of New Winchester, and Magdalene's lies southeast. Now, I don't know if they're randomly moved around. I feel like the map might be pseudo-generated on a playthrough, but I can't be certain. There we go. Now we're motivated to go to Avon for cheap seeds, which is to the north. Okay, cool. Good to know, right? Trading, yep. Where can you find goods cheaply? Well, that depends, surely. Spatchcocker Meb wipes, oh God, give me a moment to collect myself. Wipes beer foam from her lips. Nowhere this busy. Deals are snapped up too fast here. Yeah, all the bots. Visit the bazaar at quieter ports. Can find all sorts. Limited supply, mind. A bargain won't hang about forever, though, the Baroness confides, steadfastly ignoring Meg's manners. And so don't hang about. If you've space in your hold, snap them up. You can always sell them at a major port for an adequate return. And that's another point. You can, in fact, just sell them at the major port. Ask how to expand the prospects and bargains available to you. Affiliations. Don't really worry about any of that. Change the subject. Let's see. Go elsewhere. I think that's pretty good. So that serves as your tutorial after a fashion, right? And I think we're mostly done. We can't really repair. We've got the shops. We've got, 4 and 4 is not terrible. I'm kind of happy to step off, to be honest. And so we shall. Let's consult our map. Tab. So there's the blue relay. Now, there's the world region, so it's not small. I'm keen to go north to try and path our way to Port Avon. And so we shall. Now, it's probably worth... The Tacketies and their opposition will be about here somewhere. Maybe if we send the bat out, it'll be able to help us. I think, yeah, here's one of them. Victory Hall. And there's the other one, right? So let's just stop here, because it's close, to be honest. I don't particularly care. But they'll be out brawling in the wilds, so I guess pick your poison. Victory Hall, the Assembly, a coalition of independent-minded settlers, colloquially known as the Tacketies. Gather and argue here. Deliver port reports here to receive rewards and win the Tacketies' favour. Okay, visit Victory Hall. Raised in the wake of the blockade of New Winchester, this magnificence of glass and steel houses the colonial assembly. So we've got stories, we've got no shops, so we'll just do this. Here, representatives of the independent ports of the Reach gather and quarrel. So we could deliver stuff if we had port reports. We don't have contraband. Take a look around. The Tacketies, those settlers who want independence from London, may have work for a Skyfarer. Well, let's have a bloody chat. The music of democracy. Today, the chambers of Victory Hall echo with shouting. The assembly is in session, and outraged roars descend from the boardroom to the palatial lobby. A discreet functionary escorts you from the premises before you hear anything too juicy. You're a captain, aren't you? She inquires once you're safely outside. If you want to be of service, bring us news from other ports. The Windward Company have spies everywhere, and we need recent, accurate information of our own. Okay. And you should be able to turn them for favours, but we can't do it just yet. You know what? I just changed my mind. Bugger it. I think I've gone them in the past just because they're close. Let's go over to the other faction. It's probably worth, showcasing them anyway. Company House. There we go. The local headquarters of the Windward Company, London's proxy in the Reach. Deliver port reports here, blah, blah, blah. Right? Following the uprising, the fortunes of the Windward Company fell in New Winchester. Now their modest offices occupy an ex-tinning factory in the murkier recesses of town. It continues to smell faintly of beans. Same sort of story. Take a look around. We'll get a bit of flavour text, but it's all much of a muchness until we return a port report. And so, away we go. Send out the bat. So you can see that chips away at your supplies quite a bit. We also have this terror meter which plays into it quite a bit. We've got a question mark over here. Well, perhaps we explore it. Oh, your scout has discovered something out in the sky. Who's this troublemaker? So you don't just fire immediately. There are raiders that, pirate equivalents. Reichstead, we got some XP for finding that. But, again, the Tacketies and all that will not fire on sight. Well, unless you make a name for yourself, I suppose. But we... Oh, whoops, I accidentally sent that out. Oh, an extra supply. That's fortuitous. That's kind of exactly what we needed. Oh, that's what it saw. Scout finds something. Here we go. Look at this. Wow, that's a new port. Let's go straight up there, actually. Off we go. Such a wonderful game. This, everyone uses the word immersion. I'm starting to use the term evocative. I wouldn't say that I get super immersed where I switch off, but a part of that's probably because I'm constantly talking. A distant nebula shines on this place. Its light as mellow as melted butter. Isn't that nice? So I wouldn't say I ever get fully immersed. Today the sky is as cool and blue as ice in a glass, and nowhere in. But I can get sucked into a point, The world can absorb me, but not to the point where I switch off. Ooh, I've leveled up. There's a dock captain, a signaller declares, and the crew are relieved at the thought of solid land. Well, let's dock here. Oh, it's Port Avon. This is exactly where we wanted to go. Wonderful. Behold, a ruin of giants, gargantuan blocks jigsawed together, furred with moss and whispering with orchards. A bucolic village nestles amongst smoke coils daintily from the chimneys. A leisurely game of cricket unfolds on the village green. Oh, wonderful. Let's get our level up in, because we might have to leave this screen. Or, no, hide advice. Maybe not. Oh, you know what, maybe I can... it won't let me. Disembark. A ramshackle dock juts into the sky beside a farmyard scattered with rusty locomotive parts, plating, piping, and a chugging motor with its innards exposed. Oh. An oily-faced, black-haired girl waves your locomotive into position. Welcome to Port Avon, she calls as you disembark. A rich knot of scent greets you. Leaves and wood smoke, enriched by an infrequent but pungent intrusion of goat. Port Avon welcomes new visitors, but your novelty will wear off the more time you spend here. When you visit in the future, you may need to bring something to keep them friendly. So we have a welcome level, which will deplete as we piss fart around in the town. Here we go. Now we can level up. And we can take a facet, right? So we've got the hymns and we've got the Bishop of Southwark. But then I love this level up system. This is wonderful, and I wish more games would pinch it. So what did the winds of fate hold in store? So this is all in the past, I believe. Is that the idea? So I guess you got to wonder, do we want to lean into certain scores, or do we want to mitigate our lower ones? It's a good question. What if can we get that and fist secondary? Oh, hang on. Those must be the secondaries. So if I can get that primary, oh, and then fist. Yeah, let's do that. That works for me very much. An interlude in red and gold. You lost your mind once. They put you in a splendid hotel managed by a cheery gentleman who would determine when you could leave. Oh, okay, fleshing out our past, are we? Wonderful. How colourful the other guests were. How red the curtains. How gold the fittings. How secure the locks. Eventually you were allowed to leave. But was your recovery genuine? Well, look, ultimately I wouldn't mind taking this one if we're going to play the statistics, huh? Yes, you're feeling much better, thank you. Though you could get... No, it's a bit even Steven, isn't it? Through trial and error and determination, you learn to tell what is from what is not. Oh, what is from what is not. The manager said he was sad to see you go. Okay, cool. Fleshing out our little character. Wonderful, and there we go. Our stats have come up. Nice. Cool. Port Avon spills prettily across sections of colossal drifting ruins. Its orchids bask in the evening gold light of a distant nebula. Now, before we get too stuck into that, I want to go to the Bazaar. What's Sharma Sons? Now, this will be... Yeah, look, there we go. See, we can buy these souls, and I don't know if $70 a piece is a good price. I guess we'll have to figure that out. But fuel and supplies, we're sitting pretty. It didn't cost us a lot to get here. But here we go. A sack of verdant seeds. Locomotive captains gather at the Bazaar to trade goods and information. You may find bargains here or fulfill prospects that you have claimed. An horticultural opportunity. A buoyant broker is selling sacks of verdant seeds. The flora of the reach is dangerously fecund. I've never really had to say that out loud. Fecund? Fecund. Plant a seed, water it, give it a little light, and it'll sprout overnight. During transport, it is vital that sacks be stored in a cool, dark, dry place, or your hold is likely to become an impromptu shrubbery. Oh, it's kind of like the tribble of plants. 1, 2, 3. How much money do I have? Oh, baby, baby, baby. Let's fill her up. Your hold is almost full. No, we understand that. Cool. And that's exactly what we wanted, because if we check here, deliver 3 seeds to Magdalene's, which was somewhere in the south, was it not? Magdalene's lies southeast of New Winchester. Wonderful. Okay, but let's go back to the stories while we are here. Can I leave the Bazaar? No. Explore? I don't want to undock. I don't want to wreck my welcome. Oh, now what's going on here? Recruit a repentant devil. He's looking for passage. He claims to be useful. He doesn't ask where you're headed. Oh, offer him a berth, but we need $100, that which we do not have. And we'd have a signaller. Maybe we keep that in mind next time we're up this way. Let's check out Port Avon. Port Avon spills prettily across sections of colossal drifting ruins. Its orchids bask in the evening gold light of the distant nebula. It'll wear down your welcome as we go. Write down a port report. Oh, that is a good idea. The locals are willing to update you on the news, and there's not much to share. Were it not for the talk of smugglers and sky beasts, you could easily confuse this place for a village on the world you left behind. It's quite peaceful here, apart from some fuss over a newspaper delivery. The villagers frown and change the subject when you ask about it. So there we go, that'll earn us a port report, and it'll be in our inventory basically. I wonder, there should be a way to visualize it. Possessions, here we go. Port reports. Report from Avon. There we go. Bye. Host a tea party. Now, if we had dried tea, we could increase our welcome. Same if we shared gossip, but we don't have any of that. Let's go perhaps not. Port Avon. What else do we have available? The Village Green, the Nowhere Inn, or the Cyclopean Ruins. Let's go to the inn. Botheridge's A Tour of Heaven describes Port Avon's single public house as a welcome respite, justly famed for its authentic old earth ciders. The locals can be welcoming for a while. You may be able to recruit more crew here. Nowhere in. Port Avon's first public house stands amidst a nodding copse of apple trees. Inside, brass gleams cosily on the beams. Window latches, doorknobs, and other fittings retrieved from the first locomotives that carried people here. A great polished wheel hangs on one wall. Read a work of speculative fiction. Appreciate an amount of cider. Speak to a short-sighted cryptozoologist. Intercede in a mushroomy matter. Or head upstairs. What's mushroomy matter? The pub is out of scrumpy. The barman blames a creature, a cross between a mushroom and a jellyfish. It sways in its seat at the bar. A drunk mushroom? I have to talk to this thing. Look at him. Who does this creature belong to? Bellows a man, fuchsia with rage. The Blemigan, Blemigan, eh? Okay. He points at is a grizzled member of its species. I mean, it's got a fucking monocle. Look at it. Most of whom were left behind in the neath. I wonder if this is a throwback to Sunless Sea, because I didn't play much of that. Perhaps these guys are more prolific. The fuchsia gentleman roars in fury. Between bellows, the truth emerges. The Blemigan is no one's pet. And, far worse, no one will admit responsibility for its tab. The Blemigan is unconcerned with the tumult. It nods its cap at you with grim respect, then flops a tendril into a mug of stout. It stares bleakly through the window. Oh man, this mushroom's seen things. Settle its bar tab. The Blemigan is looking to sign on for one last journey. If you settle its bill, it'll join your locomotive. How much? $50! Oh my goodness. Give us a mascot? Bugger it. Yes. Welcome aboard, Mushroom Man. As the fuchsia gentleman inflates for a particularly prolonged diatribe about ill-mannered captains and their disorderly pets, the Blemigan climbs to the bar top to consider your face. It likes what it sees. With a sound like a shoe being pulled from a swamp, the Blemigan finishes its drink. It clambers up your arm until it reaches your shoulder, where it directs you to the door. Oh, I assumed this was a human-sized mushroom man, but I guess it's a mushroom-sized mushroom man. My mistake. Now, it is experienced in surviving the cold of the heavens and the heat of those too cowardly to traverse them. Oh, poetry. Let's go. It respects you, and it will serve you well. Welcome aboard, Mushroom Man. Boris the Blemigan. And if we check here, crew. Officers, here he is there. And he adds 2 iron and 1 mirrors. Nice, look at that. Look at us go now. Right. Now we are still wearing out this welcome. We could stay at the bar. Appreciate an amount of cider. How much is this going to set me back? $2? Let's bloody disco. Hang on, what's this? Iron gives you a 36% chance of success. I don't know if that's the move, man. Read a work of speculative fiction? Sure, why not? In the nook of by the fireplace is a shelf of magazines. Each contains a story by the local author, the turbulent fabulist. Oh. The fabulist's work has been accepted in a number of publications, including Murgatroyd's Miscellany, Hearth and Heaven, and The Seasonal. Here's prodigious. What story catches your eyes? Devil's Confession, vacant throne, corpse at the window, the parson's cookpot. Oh, being a darkly comic tale of domestic misbehaviour and unusual appetites. Oh, colour me curious. Let's go. The ladle's steamed. Another portion? Asked the parson's wife. Why not? Constance replied, and raised her bowl. The parson's crockery was old and pretty. His chair was comfortable. His house needed only modest improvements, mostly in the area of the curtains. Perhaps he would be missed, but no one would ever find his remains, as long as Constance finished the stew. That's one way to fuck off your enemies. Feed them to people. Oh, you're wearing out your welcome. You got a tale of terror. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. What else can we do? Perhaps not. Well, look, I mean, we are running down the clock as well, so I think, can I save without leaving the dock? Wonderful, because I believe if I leave the dock I might hurt my welcome as well. That's fine, we can keep chipping away. Now look, this is obviously a bit of a slower burn, you know, a longer thread for sure. I'm happy that I've been able to showcase it, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed watching it. Let me know if you want to see some more. We will just keep chipping away at this if the interest is there. This game will hold me, you better believe it, because I think it's wonderful, but I also know that this might not be everyone's cup of tea, because it is, I don't want to say meandering, I find it actually fixating. It is actually enthralling, right? However, you know, I can see that maybe that's not to everyone's appetite. Anyway, I'm having fun. I hope you guys are too. Let me know what you think. We might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.